borne witness to the beginning of a new chapter in the history of a great country.
I have never been prouder of being an Egyptian.
بحب مصر ليه؟ ده معناه ان احنا يا مصريين كلنا.
Egyptian culture is among the oldest and proudest in the world, from the construction of the pyramids to the development of a flourishing nation built around the great river Nile. But while the ancient history lives on, the identity of the country and its people has undeniably changed, latest with the revolution of 2011. Through all of it, one trait in the Egyptian character seems to have survived: the love and affection towards the country itself. But why is that, and can it cause complications in modern Egypt?
I do love my country, and I'm proud that this country has such history. I think it's something in our genes, more or less. Again, I'll go to the historical background. Egyptians, since the ancient Egyptian time, have been always tied to two things: their gods and their beliefs and the mythology and religions. Second, they've been always tied to the land. They were mainly farmers that worked on farming the land since 6,000 years ago. So detaching us and taking us away from our land is like taking us away from our roots. What the Egyptian soldiers having their military, whenever they are interviewed, the main thing they keep saying: we would defend Egypt with our blood, and this is our country. The father lost 3 boys. All of them had passed away doing their military service, trying to defend Egypt against terrorism, whatever. And when you listen to the father talking and saying, I will still let and push them to go to defend this country.
Apparently, loving the country as well as its military lie in the genes of every Egyptian as a fundamental part of their identity. And not only does it come naturally, it is actually brought forth and developed upon within the education system.
It has to be taught to the new generations, and we try as much as we can as our generation to root it into your generation. We tend to give them the sense of what it means to have a country, what it means to do your best for this country. As a school, we do respect our army, we do respect our country, because this is part of who we are. If I would be an American school in Egypt and I don't respect my country and I don't respect my army, and then I would just be without any identity. Who am I? We're giving them the tools of how to love your country, how to be an Egyptian, how to care about it, and how to voice your concerns for the benefit of the majority, not for your personal benefit.
But there are more sides to the story. In the revolution, unambiguous mistrust towards the regime was brought to street level. And while the regime of the time was indeed thrown off, the aspiration for justice and influence was not satisfied in everyone.
You can compare this wave of nationalism. This wave of nationalism that's going on now to the Trump people. As I went to a Trump rally, and it looked very, very much like a protest supporting Sisi in Egypt, and that's true. They have that same kind of rhetoric where it's very, very empty rhetoric, but it's also fueled by very, very high emotions. In Egypt, every time you speak to someone and you kind of corner them when it comes to politics or society or anything, they'll tell you, yeah, well, we're a 7,000-year-old civilization, so nothing's going to happen to us. And that is very dangerous, because what that means is we don't have the willingness to look forward. And we really don't. It's a very stagnant society in that way.